All right, party peoples of the interwebs, what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? I can't believe the timeline that we are living through. As the Chinese proverb goes, may you live in interesting times. It doesn't get more interesting than the richest man on earth tweeting at the most powerful man on earth, suggesting that the most powerful man on earth is involved in the Epstein files. Elon Musk, for those of you living under a rock, goes to X and puts up a post, because I can't call it Twitter and tweets anymore because that makes me a boomer. He puts on X a post to the effect of, paraphrasing slightly, "You want a truth bomb? Donald John Trump is in the Epstein files. That's why they haven't released them. Have a nice day, DJT, for Donald John Trump." This tweet is astronomical. I was live during my daily live stream on Rumble when this tweet went live, and I was, for the first time in a long time, at a loss for words. I said, oh, someone hacked his account. No, there was no excuse of someone hacking Elon Musk's account. And nobody's hacking Elon Musk's account. He literally owns X. He had a follow-up tweet suggesting it was something of a prediction, mark my words, or bookmark this tweet, yada, 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 as if that undoes the damage that he did with that tweet. Now, we are all very familiar with the term defamation. Defamation is a false statement that harms someone's reputation, yada, yada, yada. And in order for something to be defamatory, it needs to be false. If it's true, it will not be defamation. There is a concept called defamation through implication, and I put out a tweet in response to Elon Musk's. In the voice of Morgan Freeman, Elon Musk just discovered the term defamation through implication. Here's the deal. What the hell is going on, Elon? Oh my goodness, if you're going to do something like this, we need a little bit more of an explanation, or, you know, that little thing called evidence. Elon Musk comes out with a tweet, and I'm sure his defense is going to be, well, at the end of the day, we know that Donald Trump's name is in the black book, as is, I don't know, 15,000 other people who were not involved in the Epstein files in any nefarious manner. Alec Baldwin's in the book. It's a Rolodex of people, famous people that they keep names of so they can invite to parties, hobnob with, whatever. We all know what is meant when someone says they are in the Epstein files. We don't mean in an innocuous sort of having flown on the plane, but only from New York to Miami, because that's where, you know, regional flights were operating when Epstein would fly a lot of people, not to Epstein's island, but rather domestically. When people say someone's involved in the Epstein files, we know what they mean. They mean, the world understands, involved in child sex trafficking, sexual exploitation, blackmail, criminality. So when Elon Musk comes out and says, yeah, Trump is in the Epstein files, if his defense was going to be, yeah, well, technically he is in the Epstein files because he's in the black book and he might have flown on Epstein's plane domestically, that is where you're going to learn what defamation through implication is, because these statements, although technically and materially true, is nonetheless defamatory in what it implies, that being that Donald John Trump was involved in nefarious sex trafficking, exploitation of minors, blackmail, corruption of the highest order, which, full transparency, I don't believe for a bloody second. If Donald Trump was in the files in a nefarious way, it would have been leaked a decade ago. It would have been leaked when Donald Trump came down the escalator. It would have been leaked in 2020. It would have been leaked in 2024. And the idea that, well, now he's got control of the file so he can control what information comes out. If he were involved in the Epstein files, that file was under the control of a corrupt, weaponized Biden, FBI, DOJ, Biden crime regime. So if Trump was in fact involved in Epstein files in a nefarious way, it means the Democrats knew about it for years and covered that up until the present. In which case, it would basically mean that the Democrats are as corrupt as Donald John Trump, if not more so, because they covered up for what they could have used to take him down once and for all. Full disclosure also, if it turns out that anybody I have ever defended is involved in nefarious activities of the most nastiest of the highest orders, involved in the Epstein files in a nefarious way, there will be not a slight bit of hesitation before I turn on them, throw them under the bus, formally dissociate myself from them and anything they've ever represented. So if it turns out, by whatever freak turn of events, that Donald John Trump was involved in the Epstein Island, went to Epstein's Island, is nefariously involved with Epstein, there will be no more defending Donald John Trump. I just, for the life of me, would bet everything I own, not everything I own, I would bet a big wager against it for the reasons I've already elucidated. Now, we understand that there's a fight between Elon Musk and Donald John Trump over the one big, beautiful bill, the OBBB. And Elon kind of went nuclear and said, this is an abomination of a bill, and this is where the falling out occurred. There's a falling out, Elon, and then there is behavior that some suspect might be the result of drugs. I don't know what amphetamines look like. What were the other drugs that they suggested some people were on? The Sam Bankman-Fried. I don't know what these drugs look like in terms of behavior. I don't know how people act when they're on them. I won't make that accusation, especially since it would be baseless as Elon Musk saying Epstein books, Epstein files involve Donald John Trump in a nefarious way. But I'll tell you one thing. What Elon Musk did has undermined any and all credibility of Elon Musk. The Democrats, from the beginning, were saying, we can't trust Elon Musk with access to confidential government data. We can't trust Elon Musk because he thinks he's president, he thinks he's in control, he thinks he runs the country. With what Elon did right now, today, by tweeting out that Donald John Trump was involved in the Epstein files, and that's the truth bomb, that's why they haven't released them, let's operate on the infinitesimally small chance that it's true. The only reason Elon would know that is because he's had access to confidential private government information. If it's true, it needs to be disclosed. But even if it's true, it means that Elon has exploited his position to access government documents, to leak that information, and arguably potentially topple a government, overthrow a government. So even if it's true, and if it's true, we all want to know, regardless of who it's true about, it would be a problem in that it's disclosing confidential information that he had access to, thus confirming the lefty progressive Democrat screaming and crying that they can't trust Elon Musk with access to confidential government data. The second thing that it confirms is that Elon Musk actually does think he's in control. He actually does think he's the president. It's one thing to disagree with the one big beautiful bill. It's another thing to feel that you have been exploited, your time has been wasted, they took your advice and they didn't take your advice. You gave them all the recommendations of how to cut government waste and they disrespectfully said, thanks, put it aside, we're passing this bill that raises the debt ceiling, that continues the government waste, etc. You can be offended, but you don't get them to say, now we need to impeach Donald John Trump, which Elon Musk said in another tweet, or at least in response to another tweet. Impeach Donald John Trump and he should be replaced by J.D. Vance. That is government meddling of the highest order. That is a man who wants to undo an election because he's had access to the government, because he might have thought he was a little more powerful than he was. The problem is, however, that Elon Musk might be sufficiently powerful to take down a government, to interfere with government business, to cause a national security crisis and arguably an international security crisis. Because in response to this, Trump comes out and says, he's just pissed because we're going to cut the funding, or someone said that. Someone said that Elon's pissed because they're no longer going to have the EV funding. That doesn't make any sense because Elon Musk knew that that was going to get cut, the subsidies. But the fact that Elon Musk can then come out and say, well, now I'm going to dismantle the Operation Dragon, whatever it was that they were providing logistics and support for the International Space Station, you're dealing with someone, private enterprise, private individuals who have the power to interfere in government affairs, to access government information, and then to actively promote toppling the government, and then threatening to no longer assist in certain affairs with the government. The problem here is Elon Musk, in addition to arguably, but not arguably, having walked himself into, if there's ever been a $1 billion defamation case, this is it, of the sitting president of these United States of America to say without evidence that he's been involved in the most nefarious criminal activity ever, anywhere, is $1 billion defamatory. I do question whether or not it's even potentially criminal interference with government affairs. I don't know. I'm not a criminal lawyer and certainly not an American criminal lawyer, but I'd be worried. And then at the end of the day, Elon Musk threatening to deprive the government of national security resources, operations that he's providing. My goodness, the government can nationalize whatever it was that Elon was providing by way of national security requirements for the government. I wonder whether or not Elon can get voted off the board of Tesla for this behavior because it's over the top. And part of me who still likes Elon and who still thinks he's done more for free speech than anybody else out there, tied with Chris Pavlovsky from Rumble, part of me wants to say, okay, he can't be doing something stupid. Maybe he's taking a shot to help out Donald Trump. Nothing in me believes that he and Donald Trump are colluding together with something of a tag team play here because it would forever discredit Trump. There's no way they're working together behind the scenes with some long play ploy, long play troll. Maybe Elon Musk is doing it on his own. He'll take a hit for the team by acting in such a way so as to absolutely compel the production of the Epstein files. Operate on the basis that Elon is trolling. His defense at the end of the day is going to be, I never meant it seriously, and I never believed it because I always knew Trump was not involved in the Epstein files, but we need to disclose those files to take down the people who truly are involved, and enough diddly-daddling from Blondie Bondi. We want it now, and so by saying this, it compels Bongino, Patel, Bondi to release the Epstein files, even if they didn't want to, even if there were other political reasons for which there was a delay. So maybe Elon thinks he's doing a good one for the team and taking one for the team, harming his reputation, but I have trouble even believing that, despite the degree to which I want to think Elon has not just absolutely lost it, but I think Elon might have absolutely lost it, because that tweet is defamation by implication. If it happens to be true, that's not how you do it, and that's not how you drop the bomb without the hard evidence. And I do not believe for a second that it's true for the reasons I've already said. The information would have been out already. And if it is true, the level of corruption that it's going to expose in the government in terms of Democrats, Joe Biden, FBI, actively protecting Donald Trump for whatever the reason, and the reason would be dark, dark, dark. I don't believe it for a second. So Trump's not in those files. Whether or not Elon's defense is going to be substantially true because he flew on the plane and he's in the black book, so technically what I said is true, that's defamation through implication. And above and beyond a massive lawsuit, he is walking a very fine line, potentially, of some form of unlawful interference with the government. I would argue, I believe, although that is not a legal opinion, that is not legal advice. I don't know what the hell is going on. What freaking timeline are we living in? I'm going to the beach. I'm going to go purify myself in the ocean, and then I'm going to go do a podcast, and then I'm going to go continue mulling and see what happens between now and the end of the day, because we are on Operation Warp Speed in terms of bombs, truth bombs, infighting. The Democrats who have been saying this isn't going to end well, from the beginning they've been saying that. Well, congratulations, they are taking a victory lap right now. So whatever Elon did, it was a big mistake. You know, it's not about Team Trump versus Team Elon. It's about Team America. And what did Elon Musk do today? Is it in the best interest of America? Abso-freaking-lutely not. If Donald Trump is involved in the Epstein files in a nefarious manner, everyone involved in that file in a nefarious manner should be outed. That's in the interest of America. But what Musk did was not any meaningful, bona fide, revealing information. And it wasn't in the best interest of America, and that's the bottom line. Elon Musk looks like he thinks he's president. Apparently he tweeted out also, Trump's here for the next 3 years, I'm here for the next 40. People saying he's got FU money. FU money does you no good when you're in jail. You might be there for the next 40 years, but if someone finds out you did something criminal here in order to interfere in global geopolitics, you might be there for another 40, Elon, but you might be bankrupt and in jail. So how good's that going to work out for you? We'll see. I'm going to go take a purifying, relaxing, cleansing dip in the ocean. If you like what I do and you're still watching at this point, you know what you have to do. Just go like, share, subscribe, drop a comment in the comment section. The Viva Frei on Twitter, vivabarneslaw.locals.com, and Viva Frei on Rumble. Go, enjoy the day. Peace.